How is everyone but Kaido and his crew awakened? What is going on here? Anywho, when it comes to creativity and entrances, Oda never disappoints, and Oda has yet again dropped another banger with Saint Jay Garcia Saturn finally entering Egghead Island and taking control of the Pacifista while also revealing his devil fruit form, and man, it looks terrifying. It makes sense, as when Sabo saw the Gorosei transform in front of him, he said it looks like he's in hell, and that makes sense considering what Garcia is based off of. Of course, chapter 1094 has dropped and you should read it now because it was honestly a monumental chapter. For the first time in history, not only is Saint Jay Garcia, one of the Goresei, leaving Mary Joa and actually stepping foot on the lower realm, but it looks like he might actually fight. So for the first time, we might see one of the Goresei in battle, and the real question is, just how strong are they? They're known as the warrior god and the personal bodyguards of Imu, so they most likely are very strong, but the big debate right now is, are they admiral? Are they stronger than admiral? Are they Yonko? Are they in between admiral Yonko? Are they underneath admiral? We don't know yet, but we're about to find out, and he did see Nika in the flesh, so we're probably going to get some more lore drops on that. Having a great first impression is very important for a character, especially one that is hyped up like the Gorosei, and honestly, Oda did not disappoint, as some sort of magic circle popped up in the middle of the island with the number 5. Maybe all of the Gorosei have this type of ability, but he quite literally warped from the ship to the middle of the island, and everyone in the vicinity felt the presence of Garcia, which is nuts because the last time something like this happened was when Shanks was outside of Wano and he used his haki to stop Green Bull. So it's very possible that Gorosei, specifically Saturn at least, has Conqueror's haki. As you can see, haki flashing up and fire coming out, and honestly, he is the highest authority figure in the world outside of Imu, so it would make a lot of sense for all to have Conquerors because they're leading figures and they basically can control the entire world. A big question on everyone's mind is, what exactly is that devil fruit form that he's taken shape of? Well, it seems as though we were kind of right. He is an ox slash bull to an extent. He's actually appears to be a ushi-oni, a yokai from Japan, something that has the head of an ox but the body of a spider. They do take different forms depending on where they live, but there's a few things that they all have in common. One, they all seem to have poison and toxic abilities, which is going to be very interesting and probably how he was able to snipe out that one marine fodder that saw him. But also, Luffy is immune slash has very strong resistance to poison and toxins, so this ability working on Luffy is going to be very interesting. Because if you remember, Luffy became strongly immune to poisons after his encounter with Magellan in Impel Down, after being covered multiple times by endless amount of poison and toxins. But also, this creature is said to be closely associated with water, such as like beaches, waterfalls, etc, etc. They're usually found around there, so this monster might actually have some water type abilities, which would be very interesting. But the craziest part about all of this is the fact that Garcia is actually awakened. Now that to me is wild, as he does have the black flame similar to Lucci and Kaku. Considering Saturn is based off of a yokai, I'm willing to bet the rest of the Gorosei will follow suit, as Oda does love his themes, and thematically I think it would be perfect that these guys are pretending to be gods when in fact they're really demons, and yet they're calling the D-clan the demons, and it's kind of the irony in it that makes it so wonderful. I'm not sure about all of them, but if we're going off the theme of yokai, I think I can decipher a couple of the Gorosei's true powers. For example, Ethan, I believe, is actually a Yume no Seirei. Hopefully I'm not butchering the name, but the description matches Ethan quite well. He is known as an elderly man who wears a loose white robe that shows his rib cage, and he holds a cane in his hand, and honestly, the weapon that Ethan holds does look similar to that of a cane when sheathed. And I genuinely believe the smoke that's going around him in the silhouette is actually its awakened form. And this yokai is known to cause nightmares. I believe the one that looks like a bird, who might be Marcus Mars, is actually a Furaribi, which is a yokai of flame, a bird-like creature with the face of a dog. But another idea I really like is that it could be the Suzaku, which is a phoenix-like bird. It's one of the 4 symbols of China. If you know what it is, the white tiger, the black tortoise, the vermilion bird, and of course the azure dragon. But this one is also a symbol of the planet Mars. That would be very on the nose, but I think it would be really cool. cool. Now the one on the far right that to me looks like the silhouette of an elephant, I believe might be Top Man, is actually a yokai called the Baku, aka the Dream Eater. It has a body of a bear, the head of an elephant, and the eyes of a rhinoceros. And I think this would be awesome as one of the main themes of the story is dreams and following them. So for this guy, the head of the world government that care about order and control, being a Dream Eater, the enemy of the D-Clan, actually makes so much sense. But regardless, this is a monumental moment on the simple fact that this is for the first time in the entire series we get to see a Gorosei in action. How strong are they? Are they extremely powerful? The fact that everyone on the island felt their presence is very telling that these guys, or at least Saturn, is a threat. The real question now is, who will Saturn fight? As Zoro is right now preoccupied, Sanji is there right now in front of him. I can see them clashing, but I can see Oda using him as a hype tool, unfortunately. Luffy just deaded Kizaru and punching him in the head, which was crazy because he calls his move White Star Gun, and a literal White Star manifests at the side of Kizaru's head, but Kizaru just gets launched. Luffy's now recovering due to the weakness of Gear 5 draining his stamina, but I do think he'll clash at least with Saturn, as this has been a fight long time coming. So for these two to finally meet is monumental, but also Robin better hide because she just got done fighting a spider lady in Wano, and here again a spider-like creature has appeared, and this one actually wants to kidnap or maybe even kill Nico Robin. So that is an interaction I do expect as well. Personally, I think it'll be Luffy who pulls double duty and defeats Saturn as well, because it sounds like it's Luffy that causes this worldwide incident that shocks everyone. But I personally would love for Dragon to show up and fight Saturn. It'd be a win-win situation. We see how strong the Gorosei is, but also how strong Dragon is, the highest authority in the world versus the most wanted man. And Dragon has so much writing in this arc because he's best friends with Vegapunk and Kuma, so it'd make a lot of sense to me. But again, I think it'll be Luffy, and either way it's gonna be fire. But that's about it for this video. Also, the color spread was awesome, as it basically was an illustration of the Shimotsuki family, and it looks like there was one person in the top left corner that I couldn't recognize. I don't know if that's Zoro's father that Oda is hinting that he revealed in the SBS, maybe, but it would make sense because basically every Shimotsuki is on that cover spread, and honestly it looked amazing. But anywho, I'd like to talk about the ritual circle for a second, because one of the Marines call it a magic circle, and it got me thinking because I felt like I saw this before and I was correct. Back when Brook was sent to the Long Leg tribe, I think, during the Shibodi archipelago, he was sent to a place that was doing a black magic ritual, and they had a summoning circle that looked almost identical to the one that summoned Saturn. And they basically mentioned that they'll sacrifice everything in their life in order to achieve vengeance and use this black magic to summon the King of Demons. This was very interesting to me because maybe this little magic circle is actually a real thing. Vegapunk states that accordingly, devil fruits were created by the dreams and desires of humanity, and if that's truly the case, then the opposite should exist as well. Could devil fruits be manifested through the nightmares and despair of humanity? I think that'd be very interesting and could explain these demon-like abilities. Similar to the Clobberter Man being a spirit manifested of a ship that's dearly loved and desired, could the same be true with fear and despair? Remember the quote from NL, God doesn't create fear, God is fear. So maybe the Gorosei are a manifestation of humanity's fears. Maybe it's a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but at this point anything's possible, because once again you can see a shadowy like figure forming from this circle, similar to when Sabo met Imu and the Gorosei. They turn into these like shadowy like creatures. Obviously it was most likely a silhouette, but there might be more to it than we're led to believe. Maybe these guys are really demon like shadow creatures. I don't know, but right now Egghead is shaping up to be one of the best arcs in the series. It really feels like a post arc, but just continuous. I hope he can keep this pacing for the rest of the saga, because right now One Piece is hot as it ever could be. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What's going on with Saturn? What is his power? What do you think the other Gorosei are like? I would love to know. Otherwise, hope you guys have a good day and a good night. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.